What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with another Destiny 2 video. This time, of course it's weekly reset day. Bungie do have a new patch for Destiny 2, so we'll round up all of the changes there, and things to be aware of as we head into another week of Heresy content. So, the Act 3 story continues this week. Of course, we're heading towards a conclusion fairly soon, paving the way to other content down the road. But for the rest of this week, of course, we'll cover key rewards and activities in the game. We'll take a look at the Eververse inventory, vendor items, and a handful of other updates right here in the video. So if you guys enjoy this one and find it useful, a rating below really does help us out on the channel. But without further delay, let's get into it. And initially, of course, for Heresy content, there are some changes in the patch today that'll hopefully improve a few elements right there. We'll talk about them in just a moment, but we're sort of in the middle of the Act 3 story, so it'll be interesting to see how that pans out this week. Of course, check your quest steps, and we're able to continue working on that. In general, there are many weeks left of episode Heresy as well to work on triumphs, titles, or picking up rewards. There's the additional possibility of a few extra secrets to find here and there in the Nether in the next few weeks as well, as triumphs indicate. So really, we're in the final stretch for Heresy at the moment, but a few more things to come, and it will be neat to see how it all plays out in the coming weeks. Next up though, we have the patch notes for the update today. These actually don't list any changes to spawn zones in the Nether, but Bungie on Twitter did say that they were going to make the Founts, as well as Hull Breach, a potential starting zone for the Nether, so that should be going live today. I think they want to confirm it separately to the patch notes once it's actually working correctly, but for the rest of the patch notes here, for Vesper's host, they fixed an issue where panels for the access override puzzle were immune and preventing progress, so that was for the third override puzzle. Then for weapons, they fixed an issue where regular versions of Palindrome and Lotus Eater could drop with double perks, so that will no longer be happening, presumably only for the Adepts. We'll see what we get in terms of Nightfall stuff this week and in the future, of course, but for weapon perks, they fixed an issue where reloading weapons with the Runneth Over origin trait would eventually cause Destiny 2 to run out of memory. Hadn't actually heard of that one previously, but obviously that was causing quite the issue in those instances, so I guess it's good that it's sorted. And then finally, for the artifact, they fixed an issue where the 2 Shreds perk was errantly buffing any ability damage, so that one was applying a buff to all abilities when, of course, it isn't supposed to. And presumably after the patch, if everything works as intended, of course, then that will no longer be the case. So there we go, those are the updates from the patch notes today, and I'll be sure to keep you guys posted if Bungie give us any further updates regarding the Nether spawns. And moving into the game right here, we do have double Crucible rewards active this week, so certainly something to keep in mind and take advantage of if you're diving back into PvP. Then for the weekly story quest, we need to meet with the Echo of Navigation in Eris's Throne World via the Last City portal, so back to Eris's apartment and of course the Throne World, and we can continue the story for the week. As we fly into the tower though, let's focus on Bright Dust items available this week in the Eververse store. I think the ornament for Outbreak Perfected that's up for silver on the front page will actually come up for Bright Dust at some point. May be mistaken, I'll look into that, pin it in the comments down below. But for Bright Dust stuff this week, we do have the Circling Sharks exotic emote, which is available for 3,250 Bright Dust right here, if we can ever get the preview. There we go, it finally turned up. On top of that though, we got some exotic armor ornaments this week. So for Titans at least, we have Keep It Clean for the Actium War Rig. These are up for 1,500 Bright Dust, so some from back in Revenant available this week, which is certainly nice. On top of that, we have the Champion Entrance Transmat Effect, which is 450 Bright Dust. Then, for the front page shaders, we've got Voiced Poison Shimmer up for grabs this week. These are 300 Bright Dust as always. Additionally, for the front page, we have Mercury Vex Chrome as well. To the main Bright Dust section though, more exotic ornaments right here. We've got the Harrier ornament for Titans on the Pyrogale Gauntlets. Once again, 1,500 Bright Dust, kind of skipped over the emote right there, but if you've been looking to add some of the newer stuff to collections, we do have ornaments available this week, which is certainly nice. Then there is the Zoning Out multiplayer emote on the second page here for 4,250 Bright Dust, so quick preview of that one as well. Moving through the listings though, one more Heresy item. There is the Modded Shell available for 2,850 Bright Dust, which is a rather curious looking thing with an exhaust manifold coming out of it. Very strange indeed. Then there is the Heliotropium exotic ship for 2,000 Bright Dust this week. Kind of satellite vibes going on with that one. Kind of curious. But moving on, we have the Open Sky Tora exotic sparrow, which is available for 2,500 Bright Dust. And you'll have also noticed, I'm sure, the Pocket Ace ornament for the Ace of Spades. Of course, the Nerf gun ornament for the weapon, essentially, right here, which is pretty cool. I think that's the first time for Bright Dust, so that's 1,250 Bright Dust this week. And then on top of that, we have the Throwy projection, which we almost missed right there. We'll skip back through to the store. But yeah, I think that's the first time this has come up new this season as well, which is 1,500 Bright Dust. But for the second page of shaders, there is Iridescent Coral, which does come up somewhat frequently. And then we've got Polished Sea Stone available this week as well. Once again, all of these will be 300 Bright Dust. And then the Gloam Strife is available this week as well. But finally, there's Whispered Sheen up for grabs in the store. So share your thoughts on those. But finally, we have the AI Com Rasputin Reboot Transmat effect for 450 Bright Dust, a classic one, but certainly a cool one. Additionally, the Vitreous entrance is available this week as well. And very finally, Ghost Purple, if you want a bit of void action going on. So let us know down below if you'll pick anything up from the store this week. Just for a quick confirmation, Rake Angle is indeed the Nightfall weapon this week, as we covered in the weekly reset video. I wasn't 100% certain because some of the rotations have been a little bit all over the place. Hopefully, Lotus Eater and Palindrome will be up for grabs again soon, as of course there are plenty of folks still wanting to go after good rolls on them. But we'll take a quick look at Banshee's featured inventory for the moment. Why not? We have the Hollow Words with Feeding Frenzy and Sympathetic Arsenal, also the Enigma with Subsistence and Frenzy. Of course, Enigma previously, I think, was only a Witch Queen campaign reward, so if you missed that in the past, certainly worth grabbing and keeping an eye on for different rolls through the week. But we've got the Tarantula Linear Fusion Rifle with Firmly Planted Dragonfly, Retrofit Escapade with Zen Moment and Frenzy, and then the Semi-Attition, which has got Wellspring and Explosive Light. Certainly a pretty fun rocket launcher right there. Finally though, Path of Least Resistance is up as well, with Hipfire Grip and Harmony, but keep in mind, rolls for the weapons will change through the week, so if you like the look of any of them, perhaps worth keeping an eye on in case something juicy comes up. For the last quick vendor check-in right here, we've got Shader 1 down here in the annex. We do have the Mimic Savior set of gear from back in the day, if anyone wants to add these to collections, but for shaders, there is Baguzian Knight from back in the Black Armory era, which is certainly a pretty cool one. These are 10,000 Glimmer. Also Tangled Rust from the Tangled Shore back in the day is available. And for faction shaders, we've got New Monarchy Succession up for grabs this week. Some final things to mention here in the video though, just for featured activities. The exotic mission this week is Presage, where we can pick up the Dead Man's Tale. So for any players who haven't acquired that yet or got its upgrades, those are available this week. Additionally, we've got Garden and Salvation and Kingsfall featured, so if you need to work on picking up any of the rewards from those, they should be totally farmable, which is always nice, and the same applies to the Touch of Malice from Kingsfall, which is a pretty cool weapon, so a couple of useful extras to go after on that front. And finally, for the Lost Sectors this week, today we've got Perdition featured. All of the Lost Sectors have chances to drop the world weapons, of course, and can drop exotic engrams on solo clears. The 9th of April, we'll see Vel's Labyrinth in the Cosmodrome, which will be followed by Exodus Garden 2A on April 10th, and then we'll move over to Dreaming City with Aphelion's Rest on the 11th, Chamber of Starlight for the 12th of April, and for the 13th, it'll be Hydroponics Delta. Then of course the rotation will continue as we head into a new week. And based on the amount of steps left in the story, of course next week may well be the conclusion for the main Heresy story, aside from any sort of finale things that may happen around the time that Ride of the Nine is taking place. Because of course this story and episode in general will be connected quite heavily to Frontiers and the next big content drop when we start to get details about that, which will probably follow the conclusion of the Heresy stuff. So very much looking forward to that, despite what may be a couple of slightly quieter weeks for the moment. If you guys have enjoyed the video for today though, a rating really would help us out on the channel below. Additionally, get subscribed, as still 60% of viewers on the channel haven't yet hit that button. If you feel like doing that, it really does help me out here on YouTube with the algorithm and all that good stuff. Plus, that way I can keep you up to date with Destiny content. But otherwise, let us know in the comment section if you're diving in this week. And for now, I hope you guys have an awesome day.